and thank you for joining me here for the final video review of 2020. I have a very special review here today for you people. It's no surprise who the guest on the show is going to be today, getting the review spotlight. You could tell by the intro, it's the Papo Giganotosaurus. I am very happy to have this figure finally in my possession. This is absolutely, without a doubt, one of the most anticipated and talked about dinosaur figures from 2020, for good or for bad reason. Fans have been asking Papo to make us a Giganotosaurus figure for years. I remember old forum posts from like 2013, 2014 for people requesting this dinosaur to be made. Now, years later, Papo has finally delivered. Giganotosaurus was discovered in the early 1990s, I believe around 93 or 95. He lived during the late Cretaceous period. He was discovered in Argentina. The name translates to giant southern lizard. Giganotosaurus now holds the title for being one of the largest carnivorous theropod dinosaurs to have ever walked the earth, a title that was previously held for some time by the tyrant lizard king Tyrannosaurus Rex. This dinosaur maybe has never gotten his true attention that he's deserved. Over the years, in the late 90s, early 2000s, I remember him being very present in a lot of media and books, video games. He's even been lurking in the shadows of the Jurassic Park franchise for years, kind of like the Carnivores was. Giganotosaurus was a playable dinosaur in the Jurassic Park fighting game Warpath. He also appeared in Dino Crisis 2, Jurassic World Evolution, and the list goes on. And he's also rumored to be starring and getting his Jurassic debut in Jurassic World Dominion. Okay, so before we actually get underway, I should probably address the elephant here in the room. Earlier in the video, I said this has been one of the most talked about figures because a lot of people were very disappointed and upset with the posture of this figure. It's not even scientifically accurate or possible for this guy to have even got in this stance. He's standing straight upright. There's no way his spine would have been able to get in this position. So because a lot of people don't really like the position he's in and it not being at all accurate or even possible for him to have made this stance, and how his legs are so spread out, that's not even possible for this dinosaur to have done that either. A lot of people just wished he was more in like a neutral stance, standing forward like so, with the head arced upwards, the legs pushed downward on the ground. I've seen some photos of people correcting the stance and what the figure here could have looked like. But you know, all things considered, the pose, while it may not be my favorite, it's not bad. I've seen some images of people saying that this is inspired, this posture that Papo went with is inspired by old 1950s era dinosaur design with dinosaurs standing straight upright. I'll insert the picture right here. So being that I kind of am nostalgic for old school dinosaur design like that, the posture really doesn't upset me, but I can really understand how some people were a little bit disappointed here with the posture of the figure and wishing that it was more in a stance like the Papo running Tyrannosaurus. This Giganotosaurus has his arms protruding outwards in a very unrealistic looking posture. Almost like he wants a hug, or he's getting ready to fight another dinosaur. Looking like this is a loading screen to a fighting game. But I mean, what are you going to do? It's just the pose. Like I've said before, the level of detail in all these figures really makes it almost impossible for me to dislike them. So awkward poses aside, I've grown up with figures in awkward positions and stuff before, so it doesn't always kill it for me. Sometimes it takes a lot more to totally ruin and bring down a figure. But either way, you get a little plastic base here, like you want all the Papo dinosaurs to help keep his legs and limbs being protected during shipping. So right out of the gate, this Giganotosaurus has a very similar paint scheme as the Papo brown Tyrannosaurus, very Jurassic Park 1993 inspired. At quick glance, both these figures share a similar looking posture with the way the tail curves and how they're arcing to the side a little bit. Alright, so let's now get into the actual detailing work here on this beautiful Papo dinosaur figure. The feet and toe claws are just nicely sculpted here by Papo. Very bird-like looking in appearance, which is awesome. The sculpting, all this detailing work on the bottom of the feet. There's the Papo clock there on this foot. Papo tag here on the other foot. Figure for the most part is just all these different shades of browns, light brown, dark brown, and it has got light hints of gray thrown in throughout the figure here that you can pick up when you look at it in a certain light. I really love how all the colors here blend together. You can see here on the tail, but it's got like these dark, almost blacky gray stripes, and then in the middle it's got brown. Kind of hard to even explain, but you can see what I'm talking about. It's got this light gray color and then a brown and then gray, brown, and it goes up the entire figure. Just seems very natural and believable to me. I love the skin color pattern here and how it just morphs and blends. The arms and fingers are very nicely sculpted here. The pose is, like I said, looks like he wants a hug, but the claws still look menacing. Like, you don't want to mess with this dinosaur here. All the skin being folded and the veins and stuff here, like you can see being sculpted in by Papo, it's just very pleasing to the eye to look at. Same up here by his neck, you can see all the skin being folded and stretched out. You can even see the veins. Like this figure, you can just see veins everywhere up here on his neck, even down here on his body. The head sculpt, to me anyway, comes across as very accurate looking to the actual skull of this dinosaur. Really great. I always in particular love the head sculpts Papo does and how they just go into all the sculpting work here for the scales. Like, that is just gorgeous here on the bottom jaw right there. I love how that looks. He has some darker shades of black around his eye. He has a yellow eye with a brown pupil. You can see some of the light hints of gray here up on his head in particular. Love the bottom jaw. I love the bottom jaw, mainly right here. This part right here on the jaw sticks out to me, all that extra detailing work. Top of his head, beautifully sculpted. And straight away from the front like this, I really love how this guy looks. He just looks menacing and mean. No surprise, because you've probably already seen it here in the intro of the video, and it's kind of a standard issue for all Papo carnivores to have this, but he has an articulated jaw. Opens up to about yay. Look at the detailing work here for the inside of the mouth area where his gums are, the tongue. He even sculpted in the back of his throat there. If you look right deep in his throat. Like, you know, Papo doesn't even really need to do that, but they go that extra mile, which always is very nice and awesome to me. The detail on the inside of the roof right there alone. Like, you're never, 90% of the time, you're not even going to see inside this thing's mouth unless you hold him from a particular angle and look inside of its mouth. But the fact Papo sculpted that in, I just can't even commend them enough for it. It's great. The teeth on my figure here in particular are expertly painted. There is like no wonky paint applications here for the teeth on mine anyway. The teeth here on my Giganotosaurus are just wonderfully painted. I know sometimes you can get wonky paint applications on any figure by any company. I've had it happen with Papo figures before. Love all the musculature and the sculpting work. You can see all the veins. And if you look closely here, you can see his ribs. Just really fantastic work here, as always, by Papo. Love how you can see the ribs, though, on either side of this dinosaur when you hold them in a certain way. Even from that distance, you can see it. Right there. Might be a little hard to pick up, but on the inside of his leg here, you have the Papo copyright mark, and he's marked 2020. Nice that they did that. You have all this really nicely done washing and the paint colors here on his body, different shades of brown. The figure has a lot of little lumps and bumps here on his backside. You can see all the muscles. The Papo Giganotosaurus comes in at about just over 7 inches tall. I want to say he's around 7.25 inches tall. Measuring the length of this figure was a bit tricky just because the posture that he's in, so I tried measuring from the end of his tail here to the tip of his snout, and I'm pretty sure he comes in at about 5 inches. Do some size comparisons here for you all now. We'll bring some of the other Papo large carnivores in here to see how they size up with this Giganotosaurus. Already appeared here in the video, but here's the Papo brown T-Rex. Here's how the Giga sizes up for T-Rex. Definitely taller than the Rex. I think it's just because the inaccurate posture. That's possibly why I think Papo put this Giga in this stance to make him seem more powerful and dominant. He definitely stands higher than the Rex, which is, I think, is why they did this pose, now that I think about it. Either way, the pose doesn't really bug me. Here's the recently reviewed Pentaceratops. Here's about how he sizes up with him. You can have it like they're fighting almost, and or even this Pentaceratops is rearing back. Really nice. Bringing another figure here. It's the Papo original Spinosaurus. This model is a little bit out of date now. It's heavily inspired by Jurassic Park 3, but that's about how he sizes up with the Giganotosaurus. Pretty nice looking together. And lastly, here's how the Papo Acrocanthosaurus sizes up with the Giganotosaurus. I think that's about going to wrap up my review here for the Papo Giganotosaurus. The more I have this guy on display with all my other Papo dinosaurs and such, he just really feels like he fits and he belongs. Even with the scientifically inaccurate posture, he still looks fantastic here with all the other Papo dinosaurs and just displays great. I can already think of him being perfect for some dioramas. Like a lot of the Papo dinosaurs, they're just photogenic as all heck. You can take some really great photos with these things outside or for dioramas. So I give this guy a recommendation. Thumbs up the video and leave a comment down below and let me know what you think of this figure. Is Giganotosaurus one of your favorite dinosaurs? Do you have this figure in your collection already? Were you thinking about buying him? Let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed the video here and maybe my video helped you make a decision on whether or not you're going to be picking this guy up for your collection. As always with a lot of the Papo reviews, I give him a high recommendation. I absolutely love him. While maybe not at first, he has definitely grown on me as I've had him in my possession now and been looking at him for a couple days and posing him with some of my other dinosaurs here. I'm super pleased and happy with him. Papo, you keep doing what you're doing. I hope you guys have a great and happy new year with your friends and family. Thank you for all the support. I'm not sure what the plan here for my channel is in 2021, but I can promise you I do have another good month and a half worth of Papo figures I can be reviewing, so you haven't seen the last of me. So until next time, my fellow dinosaur nerds, this is JP Toys 97 signing out for 2020. Take care.